I'm now going to show you how you can just use regular paper to make beautiful flowers as well. So here's a couple that I made just by shaping paper. So these again are gorgeous. They're going to go on your crafty projects. They can go on your home decor. You can even wear these. Maybe you could spray them. Maybe you could use a decoupage glaze on them and make them even more stable. So what I've done is I've used my flower forming apple blossom dies, and I've just cut out the largest and the medium size flowers. So I've not bothered on this occasion to use the smallest. I think that's the right way around. Yes, it is. I've not used the smallest. I've just used those two. So I've cut these out of, it's still paper. It's about some might say it's card, about 120 to 160 GSM. So you can see it's still papery, but it's not as thick as some cards. And then I'm just going to go in and ink around the edges. So let's just get this pink. So I've just got my distress inks, but you can use any ink you've got. Put a little bit onto your mat, pick it up with your dauber. Now, the way to make this look right is to really blend it around the edges. So you want to really just dust around the edges and make sure it's blended well on your dauber. If it's not blended well on the dauber, then it'll go all streaky onto your cardstock. Now you'll see on these, I'm not going on the backs of the flowers. So this is going different to how when I make the foam flowers, because I always say colour the backs of your foam flowers. These then, oh, that is the back, I want the front. We're not actually going to see the backs of these, so we're just colouring the one side. You see how quick that is just to add colour. And don't try to make it the same on every petal, because that won't look natural. Then we can take our flowers. Now I have got my foam mat here, and I'm going to turn these over, and I'm going to start with my largest ball tool, and I'm going to go from the end and drag it down to the centre. So I'm using the largest ball tool to break the fibres. Now you can just see oops, spinning round. All I'm doing is dragging down, and that's starting to cup it. I'm going to go in with the smaller ball tool now and really shape. So just break those fibres down and shape it. But you can be quite firm on this. It's not going to do any harm. Turn it over and then shape from the centre. And can you see straight away that's making that quite petal-like. Let's do it with the next one. So with the large ones, I'm going in with my largest ball tool first and shaping, and then with a smaller one, a bit smaller. There we go. And the final one, I find this works really well with 3 of the large and 2 of the small. That just for me is how I like it. Everybody is different. You just work it however many you want. You could even just do 2 of each. Pop that on there, and there, and shape it. Okay. Once we've done that, we're then going to bring in the smaller ones. So again, turn them over, but this time I'm going to start with my middle size ball tool. I'm not going to go in with the large one just because it's too big. Let me do both of these first, because there's room on my mat to do the 2. Pop that down, and then I'm going to go in with a much smaller ball tool and do exactly the same as I did before. So just adding that detail to the edges. And every time you drag it down, you're just adding to the shape. So if you wanted a cup-shaped flower, you would do it on the right side, but I'm trying to turn it over, so just turn that over. Don't they look pretty already, just with that dusting of colour on the edges? So once I've got them all, I'm going to pop them on my mat. I'm going to put a bit of glue. I find it easier to glue the back of the one that's been added to it rather than the one that's on the mat, just personal preference. Pop that in, press it down, back of my ball tool, and press. And straight away, while that glue is starting to shape, can you see it's forming? Fold up the next one a little bit, make it, you know, a little, makes it a little puffy bit there that you can put your glue on. And then we go in again, we're staggering them. We stagger each time. So just hold it in place, because sometimes when you press down, they can rotate just a little bit. So we can just put it where we want it to be. Then I'm going in with a smaller one. Let's just bring up the petals a little bit. Pop that on. Need a new glue stick, I think. Pop that in there. Now this is where I definitely need to go in with my end of my ball tool. Pop it there, and then finally the last one. Now you can hand cut these out if you want to, because they're only paper. You can use any dies you want. Don't think this will only work with the dies I'm showing you. I'm showing you which dies I use just so that you can see, but you can use whatever dies you've got to hand. Now once I've done that, into my mat, I'm going to poke my pokey tool. Very useful to have your mat. I'm going to go quite a way up. Now I've got some different stamens here. So these ones here are quite thick wire. So if you want to use these, you need to put quite a big hole in the centre, as I've done here. Now you'll also see in the centre of here, I've added a bit of yellow ink just to give it that sort of brightness. But I'm not going to do that here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to gather up my yellow centres, which have all gone all over everywhere. Let's try and get them roughly in the same place. So I find 6 or 8 works. You can go a bit more if you want. It's entirely up to you. I do think if you don't put enough in, it does show. So where we are, there we go. That'll do nicely. Hold them like that. Then I've just got a piece of floristry wire. So there's nothing fancy about this. This is just floristry wire that I've bent in half. Make a U, put it in the middle, and then pop that through the centre. So what you want to do, look from the front until you've got them pulled through as far as you want. I think that looks nice. Then before I cut them, I'm going to, let me just get some more glue. There we go, we're running out of glue a little bit. Before I cut them, I'm going to put my glue on. So that's going to hold them nicely in place. Now you can put them down for 1 minute to dry, but I think I'll be all right just to cut those off there. And then I'll throw those bits away, and my floristry wire is good to go again. Let that dry, and there we have our lovely flower. Once it's dry, I'm going to just turn that back the other way. You can then shape and do any more shaping that you want. Can you see I've got that little blob of glue? I can even trim that even tighter to the glue now, and then you can be bringing them onto your projects. So I've got a quick card here just to show you what you could do. See how these are going to go, or do they want to go on there? I think they might want to go on that side. You see, never know. Things always change. So a bit more glue where I've put that. And I can pop one on that side. And then my second one. And again, these, as we said, could be used on so many different ways to use your embellishments. Card making, actually, I think it needs another one here. Change my mind as I go. There we go. Third one, I'm going to pop it just there. What a beautiful way to make paper flowers. How lovely is that?